Years ago, I was trying to make the same decision that you're making tonight. I had a son who was in high school. Of course, I teach here at the Career Center, and I knew what was going on here at the Career Center, but sometimes we don't always get that word across to parents and to students. He was plotting his course to go through school, and he wanted to go to college, and I wanted him to go to college. But I also knew what we had to offer in this building. And I said, son, you are going to take something at the Career Center. You just cannot let that valuable resource sit there and you not take a part of it. So he reluctantly came because he just didn't know that much about it. And that's hard to believe, his father teaching here. But anyway, he came and he majored in CAD, or took the CAD class, and absolutely fell in love with it. And now he is a sophomore at the University of Memphis, majoring in CAD. With that, I'm going to open our question and answer period, and I'm going to start with the parent, if I may, Pam Krett. Pam, you have had children who have attended the Career Center. Tell us about them and what subjects they majored while here and their success stories.
Well, I've had two sons graduate from the Machines Trades program here at the Career Center, and I currently have a son that's in the junior program in the Machines Trades. My oldest son, Josh, graduated in 1994. He graduated at the top of his class with honors. He went to the state contest his junior year and came in second in the state. His senior year, he went to the state contest and came in the top 10. My second son graduated in 1997. They are both now currently employed at that machine where they were able to even obtain employment before they graduated high school. They worked there part-time. My husband and I both feel that they got excellent training here, that their teachers were good. They learned what they needed to know in their field so they could obtain employment after their graduation.
Why did your children decide to come to the Career Center?
My husband and I both have lived in Fayette County and Cartersville all of our lives. We have very strong family ties here. My husband has a strong family tie in the machining industry in Cartersville. As we all know, the era of industry in Cartersville, big industry in Cartersville is over. When my husband and I graduated, most boys, if they didn't want to go to college, didn't want to go to the service, knew that they could graduate high school and go to one of the local factories, get a job, and probably work there till retirement. Well, as we all know, that's not what happens anymore. You've got to have some sort of a training. And we felt the same way you did with your son, that this was an excellent opportunity for them to come over here, see if that's what they wanted to do. And if it is what they wanted to do, then they were prepared to get a job and go for it.
Okay. We often hear, or we have the thought anymore, that students cannot attend the Career Center and college as well. Dr. Davis.
Yes, sir.
Can students attend the Career Center and still be admitted to a university and be successful students there?
They certainly can, but before I give a little bit more elaboration on that, I'd just like to say good evening to everybody and commend you all for being here. I hope you have a good evening this evening, and I put in a plug for the Career Center. That is, it's a very, very valuable resource in your community, and I encourage all of you to take advantage of it as much as you can, and certainly let other people know about it. I represent Ball State University, and I don't even really represent the admissions of Ball State University. I'm a faculty member, and I teach and do research and things of that nature. So I did a little research into admissions at our university and found out something that I think I've known for many years, and that is admissions will never tell you exactly what it takes to be admitted. It is a floating target out there, and I'm sure it's that way at all universities. I can really only speak about my own university, but I also can tell you that there are different types of universities, and there are different standards for admission at different universities. There would be some universities that even with a doctorate, I wouldn't be admitted to because I wouldn't really have the background to do the work. So kind of keep that in mind. It's very hard to generalize too much. At my own university, I know that today there is an emphasis in trying to be more selective, and in a way it's a strategy that my institution is taking. It's a strategy that really fits hand in hand with the development of Ivy Tech and Vincennes as a community college. And we have a program I think Jeff hopefully will talk about, and if he doesn't, I'll cut in and talk a little bit more about the connections program between Ball State and Ivy Tech. I would encourage people to think very seriously that there are many routes to an education, and for most of us, we know that an education is something that we pursue our entire lives. It's not going to end at any particular point in time, whether it be training on the job, whether it be taking credit courses at a college, whatever it may be, we all have to continue to learn, and when we don't, that's when our skill set becomes obsolete, and then that's when we have trouble finding employment, earning a good living, and having a good life. My institution right now is very interested in students that have completed the Core 40. And the Core 40 is something that can be completed and students attend the Career Center and work with the vocational program. I do not believe that a Core 40 curriculum excludes students from doing that. It depends upon your planning, and that's why planning becomes so very important. The earlier, the better. At my institution, we also look at grades and class rank, and so those become important as well. And finally, the third criteria that we look at for admission is the SAT. And again, there's no one particular mark there. They tend to tell us what the average for the incoming freshman. And last year at Ball State, the average for the incoming freshman was about 1,050 or 60, something like that. That's an average. And you know how averages are. That means there were many of them that had higher than that, and many of them that had lower than that. So my advice to people is that if you are interested in at least attending my university and schools like mine, then the Core 40 is important, and it can be done and working with earning vocational credits as well. Planning becomes the key.
With that, Don Miller, I'll let you follow up. I had a question for him. Is it possible to fit attending Whitewater Technical Career Center into a student's high school schedule? And when do students need to start working on fitting this into their schedule?
I'm just speaking for Connersville High School because that's what I know. If you're from another school, they may not do things just exactly like we do them. We've come up in our department with a plan of action in order for students to do the Career Center classes and Connersville High School classes. One of the problems we have is that there are 4 required classes in the junior year: English, U.S. history, math, and science. And if they come to the Career Center in the morning, which our students do, except for band students, that means that there's 4 required classes and 3 periods in order to do that, because at Connersville High School we have a 5th, 6th, 7th, and an SRT period in the afternoon. So we've had to come up with some strategies in order to work with the student in order to be able to do both those Career Center and Connersville High School. And there are 3 really main strategies. One is to save, in order to keep the SRT, what some students like to do, because that's a good study time and activity time, some students can save their science until grade 12 and then move that over to grade 12. We found also that we have several students who have doubled up on their science during the sophomore year, and that's even better because they don't have to worry about science then after that time. Also, in order to save their SRT, they can go to summer school and take U.S. history and English 11 and then use that during the school year by taking English 11 the first semester, U.S. history the second semester. We have about 60 students this year who are taking their U.S. history during their SRT period. We had about 60 last year. And this was one that Mr. Sorka had an idea about doing that at the time, and it's worked real well. We may be able to have to go to more students this next year because as a part of our sophomore conferences, we're talking with students, our sophomores, about going to the Career Center. And I guess, can I go on with my next question there?
Sure, go on.
One of the things that we ask in our sophomore conference is, do you want to go to the Career Center or do you want to stay at CHS the next 2 years? But prior to us sitting down with them in sophomore conference, our students have already attended an hour orientation where Mr. Eli and his group came over, had some skits this year and some kind of different kinds of presentations in promoting the school. They've already heard that for an hour. They've also visited over here then for about an hour and a half and gone through each program and had some Sundays that they provided this year. So they've had that orientation and that visitation before we sit down with them. So our question is, for the most part, is pretty easy for them to answer. So if they answer yes, then we indicate to them, well, what strategy do you plan to do? And so that puts the family then thinking about that, and we're doing that right now. We're about halfway through our sophomore conferences. So that's the answer to that first question. You may want to save the other questions to later.
I'm going to jump around a bit. While we're talking about the area of education, we had Jeff Plaster from Ivy Tech. And the question that we had for Jeff was this: I understand that a student can attend the Career Center and then receive credit at Ivy Tech for those career classes taken here. And then from Ivy Tech, state universities such as Ball State will accept courses there. Would you explain this system to the audience?
Sure. We have what we call a dual credit program in place with WTCC. It was renewed last year, and that program allows for the earning of up to 15 credit hours, or about a quarter of an associate degree, while the student is actually here taking classes at the Career Center. Those classes vary from program to program, as few as 3 credit hours, as many as 15. There is no charge for taking those classes, so a student can, in essence, save as much as $1,000 in tuition by taking these classes at the Career Center and then earning credit at the same time at Ivy Tech State College. When they go on then after high school to further their education, they have that much of a head start over someone who was not involved in the program. Upon earning a degree from Ivy Tech, and in some cases even without earning a degree at Ivy Tech, those credits can be applied to other universities. We have a written agreement with Indiana State University that has many of the same kind of program areas that are available here at the Career Center, where those courses can be transferred directly to Indiana State, or there's an option of, again, earning the degree at Ivy Tech and then transferring that entire degree as the first 2 years of a bachelor's degree at Indiana State. And other schools will accept those credits as well. I like to say that really the most affordable bachelor's degree that your kids could possibly get would be to start here at a school like the Career Center, earn some of those credits while they're in high school, then come to Ivy Tech to complete that associate degree, and then go on for the junior and senior year at one of the senior institutions. There are several classes or several career areas here at the Career Center where those dual credits are available, and I'll read those off to you. In the business area, in building trades, the health careers, electronics, the computer-aided drafting, and machine tool programs. And the machine tool programs, a couple of those, as I said, offer as many as 15 credit hours of Ivy Tech credit. The machine tool programs is part of a new program in our new facility here at Connersville, up on Western and 21st. We now are offering the entire industrial technology program, which the machine tool program feeds right into. That's also a program that works with Vistion and their apprentice programs to take many of those same classes from Ivy Tech at our new center here in town.
Okay, at this point, we've been talking about furthering education and the opportunities that are available for that. I'm going to turn the tide here just a bit and go in a different direction, because there may be students that want to come here that do not now want to go on to further their education, but want to work. So I'm going to talk with some of the people that are here to represent those areas. First, Tim, I'd like to ask you, you attended the Career Center as a student. What did you learn here that has helped you to be a successful entrepreneur?
What I learned basically was the basics of the auto body trade, and that gave me a little hands-on experience to let me know whether I even like to do the work or not. And I found out I did like to do the work, so that made me decide to further my career in that. And I learned to carry out responsibility because I'd be handed an assignment, and I would start it and finish it, and I would get to see a finished product, which made me very interested in taking something that was broke, fixing it, and being proud of what I did.
Okay, Rick, you represent Vistion tonight. What benefits do you see for students who have attended the Career Center in relation to Vistion employment opportunities?
In the past, Vistion, they have employed some students, a few, that have directly graduated from here into our model shop for machining purposes. Being a union shop in the automotive industry in general, some of our business practices, the majority of skilled trades and technical, we are looking for 6-year journeymen for the most part. In the audience, we have several of our skilled trades I see out here, and some of them did come to this location for vocational school. As Dr. Davis mentioned earlier, there's many different paths. I myself went to the vocational school when they had the industrial electricity. I wasn't able to go from vocational right into the plant. Instead, I had a few years where I immediately got into the field of electricity, did residential, moved into industrial, and I built up my portfolio all based upon where I started here, and eventually got back into the plant, actually hired in as an electrician. Once in there, through continuous education within the plant, able to move on in that direction. So the step here is really a launch to set yourself up for more success in the future, be it Vistion or elsewhere. The other piece from Vistion's point of view, just going through the vocational school, some of these are a little more technical, a little different perspective. It shows when you completed the vocational here, the ability to learn and look at things a little bit differently. We look for, when it shows up on records, we look for high math and high English skills to go along with that. Anybody telling you that works at the plant now can tell you the environment in the plant is changing. We're looking for more, we're expecting more. All the work is getting more technical. The computers, everything involved. So the whole scope is moving up a level from what it was just a generation ago.
Good. Tom, how does attending the Career Center benefit the student as seen through the eyes of the labor market?
Well, I think one thing, that Tim really hit on, a student, when they enroll here or at any of the career centers, the big thing, right off the bat, it gives them the opportunity to know whether or not that's really what they want to do. They've got a chance to have some hands-on activities. Speaking, I'm out of the building trades, and so I can speak primarily from that, and I think Tim could probably tell you the same thing, and everyone else. When business is looking at someone to come in, like in our apprenticeship programs, we don't expect your son or daughter to come in already a carpenter, or a plumber, or an electrician. We'll make them that. We'll teach them that. But we need someone that already has, the basic knowledge. That definitely gives them some bonus points during the interview, and we do a review of their records. We look at their transcripts, we look at their attendance, we look at everything the colleges do for admissions, because that essentially is the same type of individual we want. But also, we can see that they've had 2 years experience in that. And in construction, we surprise the number of people that don't realize it gets cold in Indiana in January. They really don't. They think they want to do that. Then they find out the real world. Training costs money. It costs Vistion money, it costs Tim money, it costs our programs money. And if we have an individual that's went through a tech center, a career center, it shows a little initiative, it shows some stick-to-itiveness, and that they've pretty much decided what they want to do. And, it's going to be a good investment. So, it gives them a leg up. The one thing that I joke about or whatever, everybody I ran into wants their child to go to college for one of two reasons. Because they went to college or because they didn't go to college. And that's it. Those are the only two reasons. College isn't for everyone. But one thing the people have to realize that we have a real problem with, one, in the building trades, two, in the career centers. I sit on the advisory board here, is the old connotation of vocational training, or working with your hands, and that's it. You don't anymore. It's just not there. Computers are in construction, computers are in everything. And most of the jobs, they're projecting right now that by 2005, 20% of the jobs are going to require a 4-year degree or more. It's only 20% of the jobs. 65% of the jobs are going to require something past high school, but not necessarily a 4-year degree. Usually some type of technical training, an associate degree. So this is, really, we use the term a good launch, and it is. And in the building trades, I've got some friends in machine trades that have businesses. They put a lot of credence on the type of training and schooling that an individual gets at a tech center like this.
I know that Dr. Davis has done some research about salaries based upon kids who just graduate from high schools compared to post-secondary school, having a 4-year degree, that type of thing. I've heard this presentation, so I asked him to make a real mini presentation about those figures because I think you would like to hear those.
I really hate talking about the figures because there's a heck of a lot more important in life than how much money you make. Now, there's a bare minimum, obviously, that you need to take care of your daily lives and that type of thing like that. But anytime you deal with numbers and figures and statistics, they're kind of like averages. Remember, there's some way off down here and some way off down here and some in the middle. My encouragement, and as a parent who has 2 grown sons now, and fortunately I'm through that process, and there is a day that comes, parents, when you have a little bit more privacy, the bathroom is yours, things of that nature. That time will come. And I think what most of us want for our children is a life that they're happy with and comfortable with, make a good living, enjoy what they're doing, things of that nature. So with that disclaimer, then I'll give you some of the numbers that are available. This is U.S. Census data. And it deals with median earnings by grade levels, educational attainment levels, and the generalized principle is simply this: the more education a person has, generally, the more money they make. Now, we can all think of lots of examples of people who educational level that they have attained isn't particularly high, but they've done outstanding things with their lives and with their careers and things like that. And probably one of the most famous college dropouts is Bill Gates, who at this point in time is trying to figure out, does he need to break Microsoft up since the federal government found him to be guilty of forcing their web browser on us. But so kind of keep that in mind when you hear the figures. Also, my graduate assistant did this, and she's a female, and she came in and she was pretty mad. And she was mad at all men at this particular reason because she found figures based upon gender, figures for males and figures for females. And most of us know in our economy, men still earn more than women in many cases, not necessarily based upon their skill or knowledge or whatever the case may be. These numbers are from 1998. And for individuals that dropped out of high school, did not earn a high school diploma, something between grades 9 and 12, the average or the median earnings for women was about $15,000, and for men it was about $23,000. This is for all adults, anyone 25 35 and older, so it runs the gamut. It's just not younger people, but it's the entire gamut. Person graduating from high school, the median for women was almost $22,000. It was almost $31,000 for men. People with some college, but without a degree, it was $26,000 for women and about $36,000 for men. With an associate degree, again, additional education. For women, it was over $28,000, and for men, it was over $38,000. A bachelor's degree was $35,000 for women and almost $50,000 for men. So again, the principle holds. The more educational attainment you have, generally, the more money you make. We all know that that's not the answer to happiness. Most of us like me who don't have enough think that maybe happy if I could just hit that lottery, I'd be happy. And most of us have read the articles in the paper about the people who won the lottery and then lost their money or whatever happened to it, and now they're not very happy. So I gave the figures out like you wanted me to, but reluctantly.
Very good, I appreciate that. Now let's go back to you if we can. How many students from Connersville actually attend college, and how many successfully complete the 4-year college degree?
The last 2 years, we do a survey in the spring, late April, early May, with the graduating class. And this last year's class, for several years, we'd always thought it was around 35% was the figure we'd used. In the last 3 years, the figure has been around 43%. Of course, you have to realize that's in April or May, and some of those people have not applied to college even at that point and didn't go. They just put the survey in, so it looks good. We did have about 20% go to a 2-year school and about 6% go to a technical school. As far as the figures, how successful they've been, we really have no real good reliable figures on that. We've tried to do follow-ups in the past. The last one we did, we had a 5% return on the amount that we sent out. So we're still thinking about it. We're going to do some more of those in the spring. One of the things we plan to do is do a 1-year follow-up and see how many of this group here actually did make it to that particular school. We know that some have put down that they were going to go, had no plans to go at that particular point, but it looked good on the survey, and we tried our best to get all those in. We were at 1% response, which is real good on the survey.
Tim, you went on for some education after graduating from the Career Center and high school. And would you tell us how the Career Center assisted you in your education?
Sure. Well, after graduation, I attended a 6-month course in Laramie, Wyoming for auto body. And what helped me is the basic knowledge that I attained here when I went to Wyoming. You know, I had some experience. I knew what to expect. And there were some students there that had no prior training at all, and I was just a little bit ahead of them. And, you know, I was ready to go into some little higher, quicker courses than they were. So what I obtained here helped me there because I'd already had some basic knowledge.
Okay. Rick, you also came through the Career Center, and you were a co-op student. Would you talk about that for a moment and how it helped you?
Yeah, within the training here at the school, they provided great knowledge. And with the hands-on exercises, it's very practical. You can take it and put it to use. Within the co-op, then you're going into short-term, but into the real industry or the real world, and then trying to apply it. And if you've been through any type of course, when you learn it, you think you have it, and then when you go try to apply it, there's a little tweak, something a little bit different that you have to put it together. And the co-op gives you a different perspective on how to apply the knowledge that you've obtained. It makes you develop little quirks, you may say, to the technology or the techniques that you're trying to apply. The co-op ship is very invaluable to really put this into perspective. And when you come back from the co-op ship, you're looking at the educational, the classroom process even differently. You're looking for additional answers that you possibly may use in the real world, which you go back out into the workforce.
Okay. Tom, back to you again. What job opportunities are there for students in our area who have learned skills taught here at the Career Center?
Well, there's a lot. It goes back to what I said earlier. Projections are the bulk of the jobs are not going to require a college degree. They are going to require post-secondary education. They are going to require continued education. That's just a fact of life anymore. But, you know, right now, we've got an economy where essentially everybody that wants to work is working. And in Indianapolis, McDonald's is paying $10 an hour with a sign-on bonus. So it's hard for some students, some kids to understand, well, why do I need to go on further? You know, that'll make my car payment, still live at home with mom and dad. It's not going to stay like that forever. Once the unemployment rate gets back to probably 3.5%, 4%, the people making $10 an hour at McDonald's are going to be gone, because then McDonald's isn't going to have to pay $10 an hour. Right now, employers are just happy in a lot of cases to have a warm body, and that's it. It's not going to stay like that. And they're going to be looking again for someone that has some abilities, has the desire, the willingness, the capabilities to learn. Excuse me. On a transcript or in a portfolio, when a student brings that and they see that they have had career training, technical career training, you do get points for it. It does count. It shows initiative. It shows already some dedication, and it shows the fact that, you know, this individual is already on track instead of just bouncing around from place to place and trying to find themselves. They've already got themselves set on a direction. And again, the big thing, it helps to assure an employer that that person is there because they want to be, not just because there was a sign saying taking applications on the window and dad said you've got to get out and get a job. They're there because they want to be. You can see that because in their schooling, in their transcripts, they've taken courses that have prepared them for that field. You know, the opportunities around here, well, I hate to limit it just to in this area. They're here in this area, but they're nationwide. Machine trades, for example, she was speaking about the demand for that. You know, if you're a tool and die maker, if you're a good machinist, you're going to walk anywhere and get a job, and you're going to make good money. And you're going to continue to go to school as well. But employers usually going to pay for that. Something we'll get into later. You know, a student that comes out of high school with not only just a high school diploma, but in things we're getting into here with certificates of technical achievement that show an employer that this student has mastered certain skills, what they can do, carries a lot more weight than just a high school diploma. Any more a high school diploma to most employers, and again, I'll speak for the building trades and our apprenticeship programs, that alone is a certificate of attendance. That's about what it means. And that's all that it means. It shows that they were there enough. Technical training that an individual gets here is going to give them a big springboard over someone else. And you would be surprised, again, in the building trades profession, how many people we have in our apprenticeship programs now. And the average age in our apprenticeship programs is about 28 years old. But the number of individuals that have college degrees that are now coming into our apprenticeship programs for two reasons: money, and there's work. They've got college degrees and things that the work isn't there. A good friend of mine, her daughter graduated with a degree in telecommunications. She's adjusting braces in an orthodontist office now. Loves it. But mom and dad are still paying the bill. And she's got student loans to pay off. So, you know, the opportunities, like I say, it definitely gives them a springboard, a head start on their career over just a student that's going to walk out. And it doesn't mean, I know a lot of parents that have the fear they all want their son or daughter to go to college. Because they go into quote unquote vocational, take vocational classes in high school, it does not mean they cannot get a college degree, as you heard some of these other people say. In most cases, they'll probably end up getting one at no cost to them or to you.
Why don't you just address that quickly, since you brought that, the question is, Tom, there are many employers who will pay for the education of their employees. What information do you have regarding employer-paid education? Employee-paid, I guess I should say.
Yeah, well, and they've got a booth out here, Nixon Tool, for example, in Richmond. They take a lot of our students from here and machine trades into their apprenticeship program, as does A House Tool and others. And they're both very strong proponents of education. Well, they're so strong that they back it up with what they're telling the students. They pay for their college. They pay for the courses. Dave Nixon even has people that are taking engineering classes. He's got one individual, I think, graduates this year with an engineering degree from Purdue. Dave's paid for it. In the building construction trades, in our apprenticeship program, it seems like Ivy Tech just tied in with everybody one way or another. Just about kind of Bill Gates scenario all over again in education, I guess. But I'm out of the Carpenters Union, as well as the electricians, the plumbers, sheet metal workers, bricklayers, have agreements and articulation agreements with Ivy Tech, where when an apprentice graduates or tops out from our program, they're also enrolled with Ivy Tech. They're taking classes at Ivy Tech. When they graduate from our program, not only do they have a journeyman degree, or a journeyman card, but an associate degree in applied science. That costs them nothing. And more importantly, it costs mom and dad nothing. You'd be surprised what a big selling point that can be. Also, we're in the process now of working on trying to carry that even further. Of course, naturally, as Jeff had stated earlier, those courses, what they have that associate degree, can transfer over towards a bachelor's degree. And give credit for that, but we're working on trying to get a program in place. Time is a factor. Individuals going to work, go to apprenticeship school, plus take classes at Ivy Tech, they still need to have a little bit of time for some other things. But we're trying to get some things put in place where they could actually have a bachelor's degree when they top out from their apprenticeship program. So more and more employers are paying for education, continuing education. One thing I've found, every employer is hiring, even those that say they aren't. For the right individual, they'll find a job, they'll make a job. They realize the importance of training. Technology, methodologies are changing so rapidly that they more or less have to. They're forced to send their employees and to offer, education, continuing education for it. And as an employee, if you're going to continue working, you're going to have to do it because things are happening so fast that without it, you're going to be left behind. But believe me, and this is one thing we found once we instituted these apprenticeship programs and connected with Ivy Tech, we suddenly had a lot of journeymen coming back in for upgrade training and also wanting to find out about getting into having credit for them, because now the kids with all the pups that they were training, they were getting the balls to go to work. The journeymen were sitting on the bench. The employers wanted the younger ones that had to train.
Ralph, could I add just a couple of quick points to what Tom was saying? Tom mentioned the Career Center being a springboard for future jobs and that training, that type of thing. Just to mention that 3 graduates from the Career Center last year are part of our practical nursing program this year. I was just talking to a couple of our instructors in the program this evening, and those three are doing very well. They were very well prepared for what they found in the nursing program. So the Career Center was instrumental in a springboard for their further success. From our practical nursing program, they can, if they choose, go on to a registered nursing program. And from there, they can transfer into a Bachelor of Science in Nursing program. So the Career Center is really that springboard. Just to touch, again, very briefly on what Rob was saying earlier about Ball State, basically, as I see it, any student who graduates from the Career Center can go to Ball State if that's what they choose to do. Rob alluded to the fact that they have increased the rigor of acceptance directly into Ball State over the last couple of years. It's interesting that as they increase the rigor, the number of applicants continues to go up, so that's a good sign up there. But they're also, as they have done that, they've instituted a program called Connect with Ivy Tech State College, a partnership, so that anyone who, any senior who applies and does not meet their new higher admissions criteria has an option to come to Ivy Tech and take a series of 24 credit hours of courses like English and math and science and those type of things. And upon successfully completing those 24 credit hours, they are guaranteed acceptance into Ball State upon completion of those credits, and all of those credits then would transfer to Ball State. So, very exciting program. I believe this is the second year for that, and they're already, I believe the number is something approaching 100 students who have taken advantage of that in the first year. So, another thing to keep in mind.
We have a few more questions, but we're just about out of time because we did want to keep on a schedule this evening because we have a lot of different interesting things, informative, and we hope they will be for you. So we need to draw this to a close here real quickly. I do want to make a comment, though, that I think it's interesting in working with students, putting them out in co-op programs already from the Career Center. I have a shortage in business. I've had to turn down 4 business jobs because I do not have enough students. I've had to turn down welding, and welding students are starting at $8.50 an hour. I have no students for those anymore. We have just yesterday run out of building trades and the fourth area. So escaped me, but there are 4 areas that I can't put them out. So we have a need in our community. We just have the need for students to come here to be prepared for those areas. I do want Mr. Ely to make a closing remark here to you. There are some other concerns perhaps, and I wanted to have time to open for questions from you here in the audience, but I would like this, just as soon as Mr. Ely dismisses us, why don't you come to the experts and ask your questions, because they'll be happy to remain in here, I'm sure, for a few more minutes and help you with any questions or any desires that you need of them. So, Mr. Ely, I'll give it back to you so we can keep on schedule.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think, let's show them our...
Again, I too will try to keep this very brief. I want to thank Mr. Burchett, first of all. I don't want to forget that for being our moderator this evening. His expertise is appreciated. And I certainly want to thank all members of our panel. It's not often that we get these folks together, with the exception of number 1, and we've got a good group here. No, Jeff and I are really good friends. But we appreciate the panel's efforts. I know some of you had to drive a long way, especially Ball State from Muncie. We appreciate you being with us this evening. There's a couple points that weren't really mentioned. We could spend hours up here telling you all the good things and the good reasons why you should come to Whitewater Tech. But a couple quick things is grade point average. If a student comes here, they get 6 credits their junior year and 6 credits their senior year. That's like taking 12 subjects at the high school. So if you get an A at this school, it's like getting 12 A's. I think Mr. Miller will agree with me. That will really do something to your GPA. And that's what they're going to look at when Ball State looks at you to come to their school. If you've got a 3.5, it's going to look a lot better than a 2.8. So the students that come here want to be here, and they're very careful who they send because it costs the taxpayers $3,500 a year to send a student here. So that's $7,000 that Mr. Miller is going to invest in the student when he sends them here. So he's pretty serious about who he sends. And so are the other 5 school systems. So when students are here, they're on a college campus, they want to be here, they're here with students from 6 high schools. So it's quite an experience as far as working with others and getting along and team building, and they can really raise that GPA. And in closing, we know how to have a little fun here for students too. Last year we initiated our first spring picnic. We'll be doing that again. It was very successful last spring. We also allow students to participate in our club activities, skill contests, where they can win locally and at the state level and even go on to nationals. And we had lots of winners last year. I think we had at least 10 students who were able to go on to nationals in different careers. And that's BPA, that's Business Professionals of America, VICA, Vocational Industrial Clubs of America, and HOSA, the Health Occupations Club. So there's other ways for students to achieve here at the Career Center. Now I'll close by saying they leave with a portfolio that's got certificates in it. And you heard the panel mention certificates. That's what Vistion and companies are looking for more than a high school diploma. So we want to help your students not only get a job and skills, but get that scholarship and get to college and finish college as well.
I'm Don Miller, Guidance Coordinator at Connersville High School. Mr. Burchett wanted me to address one of the questions that there was not time to do during the panel. He'd asked about the combination of a college bound and taking the Career Center classes, and I have an answer that I think would be appropriate to the Connersville High School audience. First of all, it is possible to be on the college-bound program and still attend the Whitewater Career Center classes. A student must do that with careful scheduling. Mrs. Brown and I have finished our sophomore conferences, and we've talked to each student about the possibility of doing that and how they can take their junior and senior classes and still take college-bound classes. Core 40 is a credential that a student would want to attain if they do plan to attend college, and we have a worksheet that we have worked with each student. If you've not had the sophomore conference and are interested in working through the worksheet on the Core 40, call the counselors and they can work with you in that way. Also, then he asked about some other honor kinds of situations as far as Connersville High School is concerned. A career student could be an honor graduate. In order to be an honor graduate at CHS, your grade point average has to be a 3.6. In order to be on National Honor Society, the grade point average must be 3.4, and the student must apply to be on the National Honor Society. I would want to mention that there are several scholarship opportunities that are available to Whitewater Technical Career students each year, those who enter the competition. There are several, and we make announcements about that during the senior year in March that students can apply for. The Ivy Tech people have talked about partnerships, and they have done real well as far as partnering with many of our students. We had several students last year who received academic scholarships because of the assessment tests that they took. And I would encourage all who plan to go to Ivy Tech to take those assessment tests. The scholarships they give are either for 3 or 6 hours credit at Ivy Tech, and so it's quite a program. Also, for any seniors who would be out there, Ivy Tech offers a program called Taco U, Take a Class on Us. If you're a senior parent or a senior and are listening to this and are interested in that program, come in and see the counselors and we can help you to get involved in the Taco U program. We appreciate you listening to this presentation from the Career Center. We had a lot of good panelists on tonight's program with a lot of good information. If it brings a question to your mind, call Mr. Eli at the Career Center or Mr. Burchett or any of the people that will be on the panel. I'm sure all will be glad to answer your questions any way that they could.
Take a look at Whitewater Technical Career Center. You will find a place that offers unique specialized classes that allow you to extend your high school education, where your credits actually apply to higher education once you graduate. a place that lets you experience the career you're aiming for, surrounded by students who are serious about finding jobs. You will find a place where, through cooperative programs with businesses, you are already in the workforce before you graduate, and a place that helps you attain the salary you want.
Starting out, probably around $10, $15 an hour.
I can make up to $100,000 in 3 years.
Started out probably between $30,000 and $40,000 a year.
Whitewater Technical Career Center helps students focus on rewarding careers and provides a skilled workforce for a wide variety of industries. WTCC offers classes in career education in more than a dozen different programs. The school prides itself in being on the cutting edge of the latest technology. Juniors and seniors from 8 area high schools choose WTCC to expand their education with hands-on learning. Most attend here a half day and in their home school a half day. They make friends with students who share their same ambitions.
I come from Union County High School, and I came here because I want to be a cosmetologist.
To try to further my education and get a better job after I graduate college.
Take a look at our classes. You'll see why this is called the Whitewater Technical Career Center. If you are interested in making cars, trucks, or vans look like new again, then this class is for you. In our shop, you will learn proper techniques for auto body repair and the use of HVLP paint gun technology. Introduction to frame repair equipment is also taught. Career opportunities include damage appraiser, frame technician, and business ownership. If you're mechanically inclined and live to make your car run faster and better, then get into this career field. This program will give you a good understanding of all the new technologies needed to enter the world of auto mechanics, and also instructs in the area of motorsports with the aid of a quarter-mile dragster which is maintained in the shop. Career opportunities include auto service technician, automotive engineer, auto shop owner, and many more. If you like heavy equipment and think you might enjoy working on big rigs or tractors, check out this career. You will enjoy the hands-on approach while learning how to troubleshoot and repair everything from diesel engines to drivetrains. Career opportunities include diesel technician, hydraulic repair technician, aircraft mechanic, and many more. Shape the world, buildings, and the products in it with a focus on computer-aided drafting. Whether building a bridge, tooling for next year's car design, or constructing a home, detailed drawings are required to get the job done quickly and accurately. You will be using industry-standard software and computers to prepare your own designs and drawings. You will find this program to be a great asset if you plan to major in engineering or enter the field of drafting. Career opportunities include architect, interior designer, or mechanical drafter. Step into the world of business. You will learn and work with the latest computer software and equipment in an office setting. After successfully completing your first year and acquiring the skills and knowledge to prepare for entry-level employment, you may be eligible for co-op job placement. Career opportunities include administrative assistant, receptionist, accounting assistant, bank teller, or desktop publisher. The future looks very bright for this career field. Employment opportunities are above the average rate for this field due to an increased demand for computers, communications equipment, military electronics, and consumer goods. Choosing this program will give you the opportunity to work on computers, circuit boards, networks, video systems, and robotics. Career opportunities include electronics repair technician, industrial maintenance, or small business owner. If you like the idea of working with your hands and being outdoors, then check out this career option. You will actually join a construction crew with your classmates and build a modern home from the ground up. You can gain valuable apprenticeship training in the fields of carpentry, electricity, heating and air conditioning, painting, drywalling, plumbing, and masonry. This is another very promising career field with a noticeable lack of qualified electricians in the field today. In this program, you will have the chance to wire a house, perform maintenance work on the school, and co-op to an electrical contractor or company. Career opportunities include residential electrician, lineman, maintenance electrician, inside wireman, or electrical engineer. If you're looking for the opportunity to succeed and enjoy helping others, then check out this career. This program will equip you with a working knowledge of different occupations within the medical field and provide you with a stepping stone to further pursue a career in medicine. You can even qualify to receive a nurse's assistant certification. Career opportunities include certified nurse's assistant, licensed practical nurse, registered nurse, EMT, or X-ray technician. Fashionable looks for both men and women are always in demand and of great importance, which makes this a great career choice. As a service professional, you will be shampooing, cutting, styling, straightening, perming, and coloring hair, as well as giving manicures and applying facial treatments and makeup. After completing this program, you will be eligible to take the Indiana State Beauty Board examination. This program begins before the standard school year, and interviews for placement take place in the spring of your sophomore year. Career opportunities include hairstylist, makeup artist, nail technician, and salon owner. If you have a good mechanical aptitude and have an interest in precision work, then consider a career in professional machine trades. As a machinist or tool and die specialist, you will learn how to read blueprints and use machine tools to shape metal to precise dimensions. At the completion of this program, you will be ready to enter the workforce or pursue additional technical training. Career opportunities include machinist, CNC programmer, tool and die maker, mechanical engineer, or machine tool cutter. A trained welder has many opportunities for a rewarding career in industry, construction, or self-employment. You'll learn how to join metal parts and work in a demanding and physical environment. Experienced welders make excellent wages, and at the completion of this course, you will be ready to join that workforce. Career opportunities include certified welder, shop welder, steel worker, or business owner. Restaurants require a reputation for preparing and serving fine foods in order to succeed. In this program, you will learn from real chefs just how this is done. Whether it's an entree or a dessert, you will learn how to prepare it with style. A class in culinary management is also offered, and students are responsible for the daily operation of the Class Act restaurant located at WTCC. Career opportunities include chef, catering, cake decorator, operations manager, or short order cook. Being a student at Whitewater Technical Career Center is anything but traditional. In fact, in many of the Career Center's programs, you may finish your training out in the workforce as part of the Cooperative Education Program. Joining the co-op program will allow you to complete your education during your senior year while earning a paycheck and getting your foot in the door of your career choice. Students in this course will spend part of the day at their home school and work a minimum of 15 hours each week in their career field. Through Whitewater Technical Career Center, the opportunities for you are endless. Whitewater Technical Career Center. It's your career education center. It's the place where your future begins now.